Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to another FIFA 21 video. Now obviously it's getting to that time of the year where content is pretty difficult to make, but this is a formation that I have had requested a little bit through comments, through suggestions and things like that. So I'm going to cover this formation for you guys today. It is the 4-3-3-4. I think this is a really good formation. This was one of my favorite formations last year in FIFA. I haven't got a lot of use out of this formation recently, so I did want to try it out a little bit this week in Champs. I was enjoying my 4-4-1-1, but I thought, let me give this formation a run for 5 or 6 games and see how we go. And I've had a lot of fun with it. It is a very good formation. Very good for if you're someone who wants to play quite attacking FIFA. If you don't really care about your results and things, this is a really fun formation to use because I created so many opportunities, scored a lot of goals. Yeah, conceded, not necessarily conceded a few, but you know, chances did get given to my opponents. But generally, it was a super formation and something that was really fun. Now, in terms of the tactics, these are the tactics that I ended up settling on. So defensive style on balanced, of course. That's kind of really, for me, the only way to play. I know some people like to play with a press, and it does work. I did play it. I did actually come up against a guy who was playing the 4-3-3-4, and he was playing press after possession loss, and it was pretty successful for him. He did definitely cause me some issues. You know, he did cause me to give up possession because obviously of the press afterwards. But you know, after a little while, as I've said before, with the press, a decent player will be able to play around it. First 1 or 2 opportunities, times he pressed, he gave up the ball, didn't come to any goals or anything, but after sort of the 3rd, 4th time, I knew what he was doing, and I was able to play out of it very easily and then just kind of take him apart from there. So it can be very effective, but against really good players will figure out how to play against it and will play around it. So it depends on if you like to play on a press, but for me, I stayed on balance and it worked very well. Defensive width, I played on 4. I like to play quite narrow with like these wing formations because you're a little bit open anyway, so I don't mind giving up the wings. At the end of the day, most people don't cross the ball anyway, so I don't really mind being a little bit narrow on the wings. But if you do like to have a little bit more width, you can go up to around about 6. Depth for me, I played on 7. I think it works well for this formation. Again, you're playing on the front foot, so you may as well play on a high depth anyway. Like I said, you're playing attacking FIFA. You're playing on the front foot, so you may as well play with a really high depth, and it's just going to force your opponent to potentially give up the ball quite easily. You just want to, I want to win the ball higher up the pitch without playing on a press. So to do that, I play on a slightly higher depth. At the end of the day, you've got lots of fast defenders nowadays, so you can afford to play a little bit higher up. Offensive style on fast build-up works extremely well for this formation. Again, if you're someone who's quick, this suits you if you're someone as well who plays fast. You know, I like to play quite fast, quite quick, but also I like to play possession. So I'm someone who recycles the ball pretty well, but fast build-up works really well in this formation. Like I said, the formations that have sort of a cam, striker, and mids quite close together works really well in. Obviously, 2 flat midfielders, a cam and a striker, they link up very well. And they're your primary goal scorers in this formation. Offensive width, we've obviously gone for 10. I like to have the wingers. Any formation that has width, I like to play really wide because I find that it stretches my opponents out really well, and it works super good. I create lots of space, and it just works extremely well. I know a lot of people don't like playing like this, because they find that sometimes you can be left open in the midfield. That is very true. But I find for me, I'm fairly confident in the way I defend. I'm fairly confident that I can have a few less players back defending and still manage to cope. And you know, most of the time I did in this formation. Again, maybe against a really elite player, you would struggle a little bit. But I think, you know, like I said, if you're not someone who's really bothered about, you know, wins and losses and results, you just want to have fun, then these tactics work super well for you. In terms of the instructions, Yashin, of course, comes for crosses and sweeper keeper. I keep that for the same for basically every formation because at the end of the day, a goalkeeper's a goalkeeper. They're going to play the same way all the time. In terms of my centre-backs, both of them on conservative inceptions, obviously Van Dijk and Wan-Bissaka. Both, of course, on stable while attacking, both on conservative inceptions. We'll come back to the fullbacks because they are very subjective. In terms of the 2 midfielders, I like to have both of them on stay on edge of the box and cover centre. And again, the midfielders and the fullbacks kind of do work in tandem, so it depends on the way you like to play. So we'll move it back to those guys in a little bit. Immobile in the cam spot, I've got on get into the box and free roam. Immobile, I love playing with Immobile. I think I love, watching him in real life as well. He's one of my favorite players for sure. But having a lot of fun with him in the cam slot, obviously behind Cristiano Ronaldo. He's doing a brilliant job, scoring plenty of goals. And then Ronaldo, of course, up top on stay central and getting behind. Decided to not have them on come back on D or stay forward. I think because you're quite attacking anyway. I like to have them just sort of on the normal instructions. I don't like to really fiddle with them too much with this formation. And then in terms of Insigne and Lozano on the wide wings, both of them on get in behind. And that's pretty much it for the standard stuff. I don't like to have them on come back on D. Again, you're playing quite an attacking formation and quite an attacking style. So it doesn't really make sense to have them on come back on D. And in terms of chance creation, whether you have them on cut inside, stay wide, or free roam. Now, for me, free roam is good option. I think that is a very good option. I don't think it works as well with the wingers because they're starting from such a wide position. In terms of stay wide, I definitely don't like this because then they just get stuck out there. And I do want them to get involved in the build-up. Sometimes be a distraction for players. Sometimes just there to make runs, so your opponent's going to track the run of the winger. Whereas if he's just stood out there on the touchline, he's going to be no effect on the game. So I'm going to keep them on balanced width. Now, this is very, very interesting because depends on the way you like to play with your fullbacks. Now, if you're going to have, for example, Lozano, let's take Lozano example. If you're going to have him on cut inside, then obviously Trent Alexander-Arnold needs to be on overlap because Lozano's going to cut on the inside. Trent's then going to go on the outside. You're going to have a 2-on-1 situation when you're attacking. Now, it depends on if you want to send your fullbacks forward. If you want to send your fullbacks forwards on balance, which is quite fun, and I do like playing that way, then the wide wingers want to be on cut inside. Because then Lozano and Insigne are going to make... the starting position is going to be on the 10 width, as we alluded to before. But they're going to cut inside. And then Alexander-Arnold and Shaw are going to overlap. So you're going to have one option to potentially... If Shaw's on the ball, let's say, on the left-hand side. He's going to have the option to pass it inside to Insigne or go on the outside himself for the cross. So it gives you a lot of 2-on-1 situations. Obviously, the downside is that you can be left... obviously exposed defensively, but because of that, if you are going to send the fullbacks forwards, then these two central midfielders, Ballack and Nainggolan, both want to be on stay back while attacking. They, of course, they don't want to be going forward. So then you're going to have Ballack, Nainggolan, Van Dijk, and Wan-Bissaka defending, and then the other 6 players with Shaw, Alexander-Arnold, Lozano, Insigne, Ronaldo, and Immobile doing the attacking. So it really depends on the way you like to play. I liked playing with it like this. I like playing with my fullbacks getting forwards. It's the style of play that I like. Of course, it has some issues defensively, but I think for me, I'm pretty confident in the way I defend. And I just like to have my fullbacks going forwards. I don't want to be boring. I don't like to play with them on stay back while attacking all the time. It can become quite dull. And at this time of the year, I want to just have fun. I want to just play the game. And it is what it is. It's kind of the way that I like to play. So if you like playing that way, if you like playing quite attacking on the front foot, fullbacks going forwards, sending lots of players forwards, and you don't really mind too much about your results, these tactics and instructions will work pretty well for you because they'll allow you to have lots of fun. And we are in June, and that's kind of what we should be doing at this point in the year. So if you do enjoy these tactics, do let me know if you try them out and how they go for you. Of course, like I said, this time of year, it is getting quite tricky to make content. The game is kind of pretty much on its last legs, I think, for most people. So if there are any videos you would like us to make, do let us know down in the comment section below. Make sure you subscribe as well if you are new to the channel. But that is all for today, guys. Have an awesome day. I'm out.